Now, it's time for Rivalry Week. If you're watching this on the main channel, this was filmed November 15th. So we had to film this 2 weeks in advance if you're watching this on the main channel.
Yep.
So we
don't know the outcome of Week 12 yet.
So some of the information you might be hearing might not be the current, most up-to-date information, but Rivalry Week.
I'm proud of you for instilling good journalistic integrity there, man. I know you're not a journalism student, but as a journalism student, I'm proud.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I keep cutting to the wrong camera.
I took a Foundations of Journalism class last semester.
Yeah.
That class.
I took that class.
The professor was incredibly boring. I'm sorry. I wanted to fall asleep during that class multiple times. He did have one woman come in. I forgot her name, but she had reported on wars in Iraq, and she had some great stories. That was the best. That was top 5 lecture I've had at IU so far. But the rest of the lectures just made me want to fall asleep. Okay, time for Rivalry Week. The premise of Rivalry Week is obviously there are college football playoff implications on the line. There are teams that need wins to keep their actual seasons alive in terms of playoff hopes. But there's also teams in games where if you beat this opponent, it makes your season, and you don't care about all the other games that you lost throughout the year. There are plenty of games here where beating this team makes or breaks your season. So all these games pretty much are very important. Now, not every team plays their biggest rival on Rivalry Week, but there are a lot of teams that do. First game, Thanksgiving Day. Ole Miss at Mississippi State. This is a huge rivalry. These two hate each other. I don't even think hate's a strong enough word. That's how much they despise each other.
Mississippi State 4-6. I mean, they've got the home field advantage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Give me Ole Miss for this one.
I agree. I wish I could know how many games I need to make up, possibly, but because we don't know that since we just picked the previous week, or the. You know what I'm talking about. Iowa at Nebraska. I'm pretty sure Iowa's going to have the Big 10 West wrapped up with a neat little bow on top by the time this game's done. They're better than Nebraska. They'll win this game 9-7.
Iowa, yeah.
Because they don't have an offense. All right, UTSA at Tulane. Does Tulane secure their New Year's Six bid for the second year in a row? Yep, I think they're better this year. I think they're better this year than they were last year.
I think they do. Give me Tulane. They got the home field game. UTSA, what are they, 7-3?
Not bad.
Not bad. But yeah, a lot of their games are just, against, lower level teams and everything. So yeah, give me Tulane.
All right. Missouri at Arkansas. That little boot that I think it's called. I think they play for a boot trophy with the two states.
So, yeah.
No, I think that's Arkansas LSU.
Is it?
Maybe. I don't know.
What's Arkansas like? Not good. Give me Mizzou. Give me Mizzou for this one.
I like Arkansas. What's Arkansas's overall record right now?
Arkansas has 3 wins.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna take Missouri. I was like, this feels like a good chance to take an upset because it's a home rivalry game. But
3-7. So
I dropped my damn keys again, and I gotta pick them up now because I'm gonna forget that they're down there if I leave them there. This is not the first time this has happened.
We'll be right back after these short messages. Listen to all of our shows here at IUSTV. We got a lot of good stuff, and we're back.
Yeah, do that. All right, Texas Tech at Texas.
Give me Texas. Texas Tech, they
did beat Kansas the past week, but
yeah, they're just kind of a middle of the road team, but Texas has the home field advantage, so give me that one.
I agree. All right, Michigan State is at home against Penn State. Penn State knows how to beat up on the little Big Ten teams.
Yeah, Michigan State.
It's just embarrassing that we have to call Michigan State that.
Yeah. Especially with years past when they've been, really good team. They've had really good teams before, so But, yeah, not good this year.
All right. Alabama at Auburn. You can never count out Auburn at home.
Especially against Alabama.
It doesn't matter what these teams are ranked. You know it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good game. But I think Bama is just going to be the superior team this year. I think it'll. I don't know if it'll be too close. So give me Bama.
I agree. Auburn's just they're just Auburn. Like they're just not that great this year. All right, this is I think a really interesting game. Kentucky at Louisville. So Louisville is sitting with the one loss, which is a bad loss at Pitt. And they've struggled with a lot of other teams. Struggled with IU. Really should have lost to IU. But they're still sitting there with the one loss. So at least as of now, we don't know if they beat Miami or not.
I'm gonna go. I gotta go with Louisville. I mean, Kentucky kind of just fell off the table after the Georgia loss and everything. So I mean, lost to Mizzou, lost to Tennessee. I mean, had a little bit of hope with Mississippi State, but then after that, right back at it with losing to Bama and everything. So I'm gonna go with Louisville.
So my dad went to Louisville, so I kind of grew up liking Louisville. I was like the biggest Lamar Jackson fan. That's why I love Lamar Jackson. I told everyone he'd be great. But I specifically remember a top 10 Louisville team with a playoff spot on the line losing at home to a subpar Kentucky team. I think that the same thing is going to happen. I think that Kentucky, if you ask me who the better team is, like on paper, I don't even know if I would say Louisville. Like, this team has been barely skating by. I think Kentucky's going to beat them. My dad's going to hate that, but I think Kentucky wins. All right, next one. Arizona at Arizona State. Another one of those games where could make Arizona State's season if they beat their ranked rival.
It could, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, give me Arizona for this one. I mean, it's just Arizona State they just...
What's their record right now?
I think they got like 2 wins or something.
They almost beat Washington on the road, but...
Yeah, they got 2 wins.
That's like all they got going for
them. They won against Washington State.
That's something, but
they just beat UCLA last week.
Arizona State did?
Yeah. 17-7.
Let it ride. Go Sun Devils. I'm taking the upset.
All right.
I'm taking the upset. I like that there. All right.
Thanks for the win.
UNC, stop saying that because every time he says that, they always win. Every time he says that, they always win. All right. UNC at NC State. I'm taking NC. Not NC. I'm taking UNC.
Yeah, give me UNC for this one.
I don't think that's too hard.
I mean, that's not to harp on NC State. They're pretty good this year, but I mean,
Colorado at Utah.
I mean, gotta go with Utah, right?
Utah big. That's all I'm even gonna say is Utah big. Who else now? All right, Virginia Tech at Virginia. 2 just putridly bad teams that get to play.
Virginia's so bad. 2 wins, and then Virginia Tech. I mean, yeah, I guess Virginia Tech. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Virginia does have a win over number 10 UNC, but that's like the one of 2 wins they have altogether. So I'm going to take Virginia Tech and agree. We got our 50-50 Baylor game.
Oh, yeah.
West Virginia at Baylor.
Every team.
Like, who's winning that? I have no idea.
Every team is just, what the I don't know.
I hate Baylor. They're just I'm beginning to get a very strong dislike for Baylor.
I think I'm gonna take West Virginia probably.
They're 3-7. I can't. Like
Baylor's 3-7.
Baylor's 3. I didn't realize they were this bad. Like I knew they weren't very good. They've lost 3 in a row to Iowa State, Houston, and Kansas State. They gave up 59 to Kansas State. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, just because I'm gonna take away the possibility for Jackson to gain a game here. I'm just gonna take West Virginia.
You wanted to be different.
I wanted to. Baylor's just screwed me so many times this year. IU at Purdue. I'm gonna be at this game. Probably.
You're going to it?
I'm gonna be at this game, and I'm throwing a massive tailgate.
Nice.
And we're going to have a blast at this game, win or lose. Now, as for who's going to win or lose, I mean, I know Jackson's going to want to pick Purdue just because he's...
Well, no, both teams are really bad, though.
They're bad. Purdue,
so I don't know.
Purdue does have the home field. I mean, this is the epitome of winning this game makes or breaks your season.
I'll let you pick, and I'll do the opposite.
Jesus.
Just to make the game even more interesting.
Roll Hoosiers. Tom Allen's gonna keep his job because of this game. They're gonna win, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you beat Purdue.
Oh wow, yeah.
You can stay another year."
All right, then give me Purdue, I guess.
Roll Hoosiers. They're winning this.
Boiler up, I guess.
I'm going to the game. They better win. All right, Texas A&M at LSU. Texas A&M, by the way, fired Jimbo Fisher.
Yep.
Bought him out. They were done with him. What are your thoughts on that?
So here are my thoughts. My uncle texted a group chat with my brothers and my dad and I, and he said Jim's gone.
Oh, and you thought that...
And I thought he was talking about Jim Harbaugh, and I was looking through every article, every news outlet that I could find, and I couldn't find anything on it. And I was like, where the hell are you finding this information? And he's like, it's on ESPN. So I put on ESPN, and I couldn't find anything there. They didn't say a word about it. And I'm like, and so I finally see my uncle later that day. I'm like, where the hell are you getting this information? Because I'm not seeing a goddamn thing about it. And he shows me the article, and it's about Jimbo Fisher. And I was like, you... I was angry. I was angry because I thought he was talking about Jim Harbaugh the entire time. It's going to be burning a hole in Texas A&M's pocket. Their program's probably going to be taking a nosedive after this. I mean, as if they haven't already at this point.
$75 million is what 75. The boosters are putting up.
Yep.
To get him out of there. They're just Texas A&M
and
is the
IU can't put up 20 to get rid of Tom Allen.
But here's my thing with firing Tom Allen. Who are they going to hire?
I don't care. Anyone else. Anyone else.
What, are they going to hire Jimbo Fisher?
Great.
They're not going to hire. Someone else is going to hire Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher not going to
bring him in. Give him a 1-year deal. See what he can do.
Honestly, I would love to have Jimbo Fisher as the coach at IU.
Like Jimbo Fisher is from Texas A&M. It goes up to Bloomington, Indiana.
So Jimbo Fisher won a national title at Florida State, and then was kind of mid at Florida State. But the potential's there. I would kill to have Jimbo Fisher as the coach at IU. I think LSU's going to beat A&M.
Yeah, give me LSU.
All right, this is my favorite game on the list. This is my favorite game on the list. By far my favorite game on the list. Because this is just the epitome of making or breaking your season based on one game. Hold on, I got to find a spread for this game.
What game is it?
The game is UConn at UMass. You could go to this game for as low as $10. 1-9 UConn.
1-9 UConn.
3-7 UMass.
And 2 of their wins just came from these past 2 weeks against Army and Merrimack.
They're at Liberty.
Their last game that they won was against New Mexico State all the way back in week 1.
Actually, that was week 0. That was the week before week 1.
I can see why you wanted to pick this game.
This is my favorite game.
Do you want to pick first?
I mean, UMass has the better record and they're at home.
Yeah.
So if I had to make a pick, I would take UMass.
I think I'm going to do it too. I thought about flipping a coin again, but I'm just like...
you're not going to make this game interesting?
Why would I go with a 1-win UConn for this game?
I wanted you to differ just so I could have a reason to watch this game.
All right. Heads, I take UConn. Tails, I take UMass. Siri. Hey, Siri. Flip a coin. It's heads.
So you're taking...
It's like I'm taking UConn.
Let's go. If I end up winning...
If UConn pulls this off...
No, if I end up winning this by 1 game... And it's because UMass.
It's because of the UConn game. I'm gonna lose my shit.
And it's because UConn beat UMass. Are we not? We're not counting conference championship games in this. It's just regular season. I say.
Yeah, I'd say regular season.
Unless we tie. If we tie, then we gotta do 1 more week.
Okay. Yeah.
Vandy,
I mean, we could do the playoff and then do the national championship if you want. But
we could have a. Nah. Here's what I think. We'll have. This is for the regular season. Then we can do like a bowl thing.
Okay.
Tennessee is playing Vandy. I mean, Vandy can't even build their own stadium, let alone build a team.
Yeah.
Give me Tennessee.
Gotta go Tennessee with this one.
Illinois and Northwestern. Illinois isn't home. They play for the Abe Lincoln Trophy. The Land of Lincoln Trophy.
I think so, yeah.
Big game. Two schools that don't like each other.
Both very mid teams. Illinois is pretty bad. I mean,
the Big Ten West football, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Northwestern with this one.
Okay, I will take Illinois.
I never thought the day that would come that I'd pick Northwestern to win a football game, but here we are.
Nah, they've actually had a decent year.
They've been pretty honestly, good this year. Not bad.
In terms of, here's the thing.
Going from last year to this year, it's amazing.
Seasons are based on expectations for every team. Like, Georgia expects to go undefeated and win the national title. Northwestern was expected to win one game. You could make the argument Northwestern as, and if that's how you're defining a season, which is how I define a season, you could make the argument Northwestern's had one of the best seasons of college football. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that they're even still alive for a bowl after how bad they were last year and all the shit that went down in the offseason, good for Northwestern, but I think Illinois is going to win. Wisconsin at Minnesota. Two more schools that really don't like each other. Minnesota's just not been good.
Yeah, Minnesota hasn't been great, but I mean, Wisconsin's dropped 3 games against Northwestern and Indiana, so I mean, it's
Minnesota gets it at home. I'm looking at the wrong week.
God. This game, I think Wisconsin might be favored by a little bit, possibly.
We don't have spreads yet, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair.
What's Minnesota? Minnesota's 5-5. They're both 5-5. I'm gonna take Minnesota because they're at home.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Well, or should we just go all out and go crazy with rivalry week and we each just pick?
You're taking Wisconsin.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
All right, James Madison.
They're both 5-5, so yeah. I mean, it's like
James Madison at Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is normally a pretty good team. I don't know what their record is this year. I don't really know what but they had that one really good year. They had like 2 really good years. They're 7-3.
Coastal Carolina's on a good run, though. I mean, they're going up against Army this weekend, and then they've got James Madison, the undefeated team. So I mean,
if you think I'm picking against James Madison, though, you're crazy.
Yeah, I'll go James Madison with this one.
All right, and then we got possibly the last ever Apple Cup between Washington State, Washington. There was a video from like a while back. They were asking Washington State fans, so like, would you rather like go undefeated or beat Washington? And they were like, I'd rather beat Washington than have like one loss and have it beat a Washington. They were all like, it was like live for 5 more years or win an Apple Cup. They're like, win the Apple Cup. That's what they all were saying. So this means so much to Washington State, but they're on the road and they're just not good enough.
Yeah. Give me Washington.
This also applies to the Civil War, which is Oregon State. Actually, I think they changed it because it's offensive to call it the Civil War. But that's what I'm still going to call it. For those 2 rivalries, Oregon State, Washington State, even though since y'all are dipping to the Big Ten and leaving your little brother out to dry, please keep playing your rivalry game. Just, like, come on. Grow some balls, play your rivalry game. I hate it when schools do that. They just don't play their biggest rival. That also applies to Oklahoma State. Play your rivalry games. Because that's what college football is all about. That's why I was pissed when Texas A&M wouldn't play Texas, which I'm glad we're getting that rivalry back, by the way. Mm-hmm. That's the best part about Texas going to the SEC is that we're getting that rivalry back. All right, this was almost one of the featured games. I didn't put this as one of the featured games, but Florida State at Florida. Picking the Gators is, I think, the trendy kind of pick. I don't know, though. I really don't know. Because here's the thing. I think Florida State's bound to slip up. They've just been having way too many close games for comfort. And this is another one of those where for Florida, it could make their season, like, entirely. They're 5-5. They're going to be fighting for a... But, like, at the same time, though, it's a 10-0 team against a 5-5 team. Like, I'm hyping up Florida so much, but, like, are they really going to win, though? You never know you don't know what Florida team you're going to get. You're going to get the team that completely embarrassed Tennessee.
Is it at the Swamp?
It is at the Swamp.
Okay.
You could get the team that completely embarrassed Tennessee or the team that lost to Arkansas at home.
I'm I think I got to go with Florida State. I mean, there's just too much riding on their season. They're not going to let it slip now in the rivalry game. So I think I got to go with Florida State. I mean, I had them winning out the rest of the season anyway, so I got to go with them.
Ah, man. I'm going to agree. Because, like, here's the thing. You don't know what Florida team shows up. But even if the good Florida team shows up, you still don't know if they're going to win that game.
Yeah.
I got to take Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame at Stanford. I think we're both going to take Notre Dame.
Yeah. Give me Notre Dame.
And then Georgia at Georgia Tech. This has not even become a rivalry in the past few years that Georgia Tech has just been so putrid. Georgia will probably win by 1,000,000. All right. 2 featured games. Now, the first one kind of depends on the result of the previous week. Oregon at Oregon State. Possibly the last ever Civil War. If Oregon State beats Washington, then this game is to decide who goes to the Pac-12 title. Oregon State beat them last year. Last year, Oregon had a chance to go to the Pac-12 title and lost to Oregon State on the road. Oregon State came back from down like 21. It was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
So, do they do it again to Oregon?
They're both really good teams, and obviously with the rivalry aspect of it, they're both going to be at the top of their game. So, I mean...
Here's my thing with Oregon. I'm not going to say that I'm going to pick against Oregon yet. I'll let Jackson go first.
Okay.
Every year, Oregon loses a game like this. Every year, they do really well throughout like the whole year. They'll be ranked near the top 10, top 5. And then near the end of the year, they just lose a game they're not supposed to. Like, it's happened multiple years now. They've lost to Utah. They've lost to Arizona State. They've lost to Arizona. They've lost to multiple teams they're not supposed to lose to.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go with Oregon, again, for the sole purpose of the fact that I have Oregon in my top 4 in the college football playoff, so I would probably have to go with them, I'd say.
So there actually is a spread, and it's Oregon 11.5.
Damn.
That's just not enough points for me to take Oregon State. I'm going to take Oregon. They are at home. If this was at Oregon State, I'm slam dunk. I'm picking the Beavers, but I'm going to take Oregon because they also have a lot riding in this game. But that's going to be a really good game. I'm excited to watch that game. Okay. The game we have been hyping up for pretty much the whole year. Like, since week 1, we've been hyping up this matchup.
There we go.
We know the stakes. We know both teams are going to be undefeated. If Georgia loses to Tennessee, this is going to be a matchup of 1 versus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State at Michigan.
At the Big House.
Tickets as low as $499. This is going to be the best game of the year. Like, regardless of who makes the playoff or whatever, regardless of who makes the playoff, this is going to be the best game of the year.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you know how I feel. I'll let you.
Here's what I think we can do. Let's go by position. Quarterback. They're both pretty, like, I'm going to take McCarthy, but I don't think that the gap.
I think it's McCarthy in convincing fashion.
I don't think
McCord
the gap
has not impressed me at all this year.
To be honest, neither has J.J. McCarthy for me particularly, though. The reason I think J.J. McCarthy's better is he can actually somewhat go out and win you a game. Like he did against...
That's exactly why I think, because...
He did it like last year. Like, here's the thing. I think McCarthy's better. I don't think he is leaps and bounds better.
Okay.
McCord's had a whole season under his belt. He knows what he's doing now. For the most part, I would say. Running back. I think running back's a draw. Travion Henderson is a goon, but Blake Corum and Edwards are...
Travion Henderson's really good. Yeah.
I'm going to say that's a draw.
I mean, obviously, I'm very biased. I want to say that Michigan is better because we've got a little bit more depth with Corum and... Why am I blanking on his name?
Donovan Edwards. I think Donovan Edwards is actually better than Corum. I think if they gave Donovan Edwards the majority of the
I feel like Donovan
carries.
hasn't been as good this year, though, is the thing. Yeah. I feel like he hasn't been anywhere near as good as he was last year. But at the same time, he basically won us that game against Ohio State. So I have full faith in him, especially at home.
Receivers. I got to take Ohio State. Marvin Harrison Jr. is crazy.
I think I agree with you on... Well, okay. I agree with you in terms of Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably the best player in the country.
Yeah, and
he's very, very, very.
They also
very
have Ibuka, but he's kind of been a little underwhelming this year.
But in terms of like depth, I think we have a little bit more depth. But again, in terms of like overall efficiency, I would probably have to say Ohio State.
All right,
just because of Marvin Harrison Jr.
O-line or tight end. Tight end's a draw. I don't know if either one of these teams is like a really good tight end.
Yeah.
O-line, Michigan has some dogs on their O-line. Their O-line is just like when they played Penn State, it was just their O-line is just bigger than everyone.
I mean, the whole purpose of us running that second half, I know you thought it was boring and everything, but literally the whole process of thinking was just like, we're just going to keep running the ball and exhausting their D-line until we can just run all over them.
But here's the thing, though. D-line, I'm taking Ohio State. Ohio State's D-line versus Michigan's O-line is going to be a battle to watch because Ohio State always has studs on the D-line.
Oh, yeah.
D-line, I think Ohio State's better. Linebackers, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Probably a draw. Secondary, I think Michigan's better. I think Michigan's better in the secondary just because Ohio State's secondary has kind of been suspect the last kind of few years. They got cooked last year. Bottom line, here's what I'm going to say. You could go position by position, whatever. On paper, I think Michigan's slightly better team-wise, and they get the game at home. I don't give a damn. Ohio State is going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game because this is the game ever. It's the biggest the game. They have been wanting to take it to Michigan for weeks now. They are so motivated, so ready, and I think they beat Michigan. I think it'll be a great game. I'm going to say 24-21, they win on a game-winning field goal. I think Ohio State comes in, they win in the Big House.
Okay. I mean, you know exactly how I feel in this game. Obviously, I'm biased. You know I'm taking Michigan with this whole thing. I think the home field advantage is going to be a big factor. Obviously, it was a big factor last year, but it ended up not really mattering for Ohio State, But I just, with everything that you're gonna groan when I say it, obviously, and you have a right to. But I feel like with everything that Michigan has gone through this season, with Harbaugh's first suspension and now his second suspension, the players themselves. I'm not talking at all about the coaching staff. I'm just talking about the players on the field. They have a drive. They are motivated to just prove everybody wrong in this game. They want to win it for Harbaugh. They love him. They respect him. Nobody else in the country does. And again, I mean, probably for good reason, perhaps, Again, I'm not at all speaking on the coaching staffs. I'm just saying in terms of the players on the field themselves, I think Michigan has much more of a chip on their shoulder with this game to prove to people that they can play. They were able to prove it against Penn State, but even then, people are still trying to kind of belittle them a little bit, saying like, "Oh, it wasn't as big of a win as people are thinking."
It was a good win.
It was a good win. It was a good win.
But also, you cannot run the ball 50 times and beat Ohio State.
Obviously, I don't think they're going to do that.
The way they did against Penn State,
I don't think they're going to do that. Against Ohio State last year, we pulled out a lot of pass games. That's how we beat them last year. It was like we were battling it on the ground, but then we had to go to the air to beat them. And so I think that's going to be a similar thing that happens this year. And I mean, really, the only thing that I got to say left for that, thank you for the win.
Thank you for the gift. Oh, my God.
I don't like getting cocky, but I just fuck it for this game. Because why not? Because why not? What else does Michigan have to lose this season? So
you're going to go to the game?
Thank you for the win. No. I can't afford to go to the game.
$500 tickets, you're not biting on those?
Oh, man. If I won them in a lottery, then yeah.
If I was a diehard Michigan fan, I'd be tempted. But nah. I'll take my $19 IU Purdue tickets.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Thank you for... This has been a great college football regular season. 2-week break until you see us again when we'll be talking conference championship games. Take care, everybody.